By the end of this screencast, you should be able to do two things. Number one, measure distance along a straight line. And number two, calculate the area size of a polygon or an odd shape. Now that can be only done in Google Earth Pro. If you have an education email address, you can download Google Earth Pro. So we are currently in the South Island, New Zealand, looking at and focusing on Hooker Lake, which is a beautiful lake at the bottom of Hooker Glacier. And Hooker Glacier runs very close to New Zealand's highest mountain, which is Mount Cook. So let's have a look at this. So we want to, first of all, measure the distance of the lake from north to south. So we go up the top here, we click on Add a Path. Let's move this to the side. Let's click on the terminus of the glacier and where it flows into the river. Okay, so we have that path. Now let's call that Hooker Lake north to south. So you can add a description, we can change the style and color of the line if we want, the view, the altitude. Let's leave it clamped to ground, but measurements are what we are interested in. So you can look at it in kilometers, meters, centimeters, so on and so forth. So let's look at meters, obviously 2,245 meters, centimeters, any of those measurements. Let's leave that at meters. Okay, so it will save to your places. Now, say you want to look at the elevation profile. Now, this will be rather interesting. It should be quite flat because, of course, water, well, I don't know any body of water that has that type of elevation profile. So elevation profiles are not always 100% in Google Earth, but usually they give you a pretty good idea of the lay of the land. So we can take a tour of that location if you'd like. Nice and close. We can change the view. You can get a surrounding, an idea of your surroundings. That's quite straightforward. Okay, let's move back up here. Let's reorientate our map. So as I said, the other thing that we can do is measure the area of a polygon, or a shape that really isn't all that easy to calculate the area size of. So sometimes you might be asked to calculate the approximate area size of a lake or a building or something that is not a rectangle or a square that obviously we can apply a mathematical formula to, or one that is obviously quite easy. So in this case we're going to calculate the approximate area size of Hooker Lake. So one thing we can do is, just to make it easier, over here on the left we can deselect our line, which will take that away. Okay, up the top here we need to go to this button and click on Add Polygon. So just like when you create a line, it brings up one of these boxes. So we need to roughly dot the outline of the lake. Okay, so let's just roughly do this and keep clicking around until you are happy that you have measured the perimeter of the lake. And if you want to change some of this, you can by selecting those to make it more accurate. Okay, when you're happy with it, bring this over here and let's call that Hooker Lake. Again, change the style and color. You can change the color of the line. It's on the outside, so a pink. And obviously, let's use a different color. rather than blue, because blue is obviously the colour of the water, although in this case glacial melt not as blue or as azure as the ocean, definitely, because of your sediment and materials suspended in the water. Anyway, so let's go with red. So we can change the opacity, which means if we had it at 100% opacity, you wouldn't be able to see through it. And obviously at lower opacities, you can. Let's change this to about 50%. Okay, altitude, so you can raise the polygon above the surface, which may be useful, but we're not too worried about that. Okay, so the perimeter, we've measured the outside, so the perimeter of this lake, and has a perimeter of 5,490 metres. Its approximate area size is 1.25 square kilometres. We want to change the unit of measurement. Simply select a different unit. Square metres, hectares, acres, so on and so forth. So this type of application is really useful for obviously calculating the area size of something of interest. So maybe you can try it on your own property or someone else's property. They might say, well, we have 2.5 acres. Well, go and measure it. Use Google Earth, use the Polygon feature to calculate the area size of something.